woods were never still. The forest, a perpetual enigma that whispers secrets to the wind. Every step, every snap of a twig, every hoot of an owl seemed to hint at the presence of unseen eyes, watching, waiting, and following. It was a place where the ordinary and the unknown coexisted, where the rustle of leaves could be a rabbit or a monster, and where the darkness seemed to have a life of its own. For park rangers, the forest was their office, a familiar yet unpredictable landscape that navigated with ease. They had grown accustomed to the rhythms of the woods, the ebb and flow of the wildlife, and the occasional lost hiker. Their nightly patrols had become a routine, a series of checkpoints and observations that rarely yield anything out of the ordinary. But on this particular night, something was different. The trees seemed to loom larger, their branches like skeletal fingers reaching out for the sky. The wind was heavy with an unsettling energy, and the silence was oppressive, a physical presence that pressed against their skin. As they walked, their flashlights casting flickering shadows on the trees, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being herded, driven deeper into the forest by unseen force. And then, without warning, the silence was shattered. A faint, mournful cry echoed through the trees, a sound that sent shivers down their spines and made their hearts skip a beat. It was a sound that didn't belong, a sound that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at the same time. The Rangers exchanged a nervous glance, their minds racing with possibilities. What was making that noise, and what did it want? As they stood there, frozen in uncertainty, the cry came again, louder, closer, and they knew that the routine patrol had just become a descent into terror. My name is Chozen, and this is what happened.
The sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows that danced among the towering trees of Hollow Pines National Park. The rustling leaves whispered secrets. The tranquil beauty of the place belied a history of dread. Among the rangers who patrolled this ancient forest, rumors circulated of my mysterious entity that roamed the woods, a banshee whose mournful wails echoed through the night. It was the end of summer, and the days were growing shorter. Roger Sam Cooper, a seasoned veteran with a rugged demeanor, had always taken the legends lightly. He chuckled at the stories of a banshee haunting the woods, attributing them to bored campers looking for thrills. His colleagues, however, were less skeptical. They often recounted their own eerie encounters, creeping shadows, and strange noises that echoed just out of the sight. Tonight, Sam and his partner, Emily, were assigned to a late shift, patrolling the more remote areas of the park. She was new, having joined the ranger team just weeks ago, eager and enthusiastic, despite the ghost stories that seemed to thicken the very air they breathed. "Do you think we'll hear her?" Emily asked, her voice light with nervous excitement. As they walked along the narrow forest path, flashlights in hand. "Who?" the banshee. Sam smirked. "Nah. They say she preys on those who show fear. We just need to be brave, and we'll be fine." The two rangers made their rounds, checking the campground, ensuring the visitors honored the park's rules. But as dusk thickened, an unsettling stillness fell over the woods. The chirping of the crickets ceased, leaving an eerie silence hanging in the air. Suddenly, A cold wind swept through the trees, rustling the foliage with an otherworldly sigh. Emily shivered and glanced over at Sam. Did you feel that? Probably just a cold front moving in, he shrugged. Even he felt a chill dance along his spine. As night descended, they returned to their patrol, heading deeper into the woods. The path twisted and turned among the colossal trunks, shadows clinging them to unwanted memories. Sam turned on his flashlight, cutting through the encroaching darkness. All right, let's check the old ranger's cabin. I heard some campers reported strange noises coming from there a few days ago, Sam suggested, trying to shake off his own unease. As they approached the cabin, overgrown with vines and moss, a strange tension settled in the air. The windows were dark, like empty eye sockets staring into the void. Maybe we should just report it and leave, Emily suggested hesitantly, sensing the ominous aura. Nonsense, Sam said, pushing the door with a creak. Let's see what's inside. They entered cautiously, flashlights flickering over the dust-laden furniture and cobwebs that swallowed the corners. As Sam searched the cabin, Emily's attention was drawn to an old photograph hanging crookedly on the wall. It depicted a group of rangers from decades ago, all smiling, their faces full of life and hope. Look at this, she said, pointing to the photo. They all seem so happy. I wonder what happened to them. At that moment, a chilling breeze swept through, extinguishing their flashlights. They were plunged into the darkness. Panic surged as they fumbled their own phones. But before they could light them, a wailing cry shattered their stillness. A woman's voice filled with sorrow, echoing through the cabin. Help me! Help me! The voice drifted through the woods, drowning out all rational thought. Sam, what was that? Emily's breath quickened, terror creeping into her voice. Stay close, he whispered, gripping her arm tightly. We need to get out of here. They stumbled through the inky blackness, desperate to find a door. As they reached the threshold, the wailing grew louder, transforming into a mournful melody that tugged at their hearts. It was haunting, beautiful, and utterly terrifying. Run! Sam shouted, pulling Emily into the forest as the voice continued to cry. Stay with me! They sprinted through the trees, branches clawing at their clothes, the cry of the banshee trailing them like a sinister lullaby. With every step, the chilling voice seemed to close in around them, wrapping them in a shroud of despair. Suddenly, Sam skidded it to a halt. We can't just run in circles. We need to find a way to confront it, or we'll never escape. Emily, breathless and terrified, nodded, trying to fight back panic. What do we do? There's an old spring nearby, rumored to have protected properties. If we can reach it before she catches us. They raced towards the spring, guided by instinct. The moon hung high above, its light illuminating the path ahead. As they ran, the banshee's cries echo around them, shifting between anger and sorrow. You cannot escape your fate, the voice whispered, sending shivers down their spines. You shall join the others. Finally, they arrived at the spring, a small, clear pool surrounded by stones, adorned with ancient carvings. Sam quickly stepped into the water, the frigid liquid shocking his system. Get in! He urged Emily as she splashed water onto his face, attempting to wash away the horror of the encounter. Reluctantly, she joined him, the icy water biting at her skin. They huddled together in the spring, listening as the wails grew louder, surrounding them with an oppressive heaviness. We can't stay here forever, Emily gasped, as her eyes darting around the forest. What if she finds us? We need to show her we're not afraid, Sam said, remembering the tales of the Banshee. They say she feeds on fear. And the more we give in, the more powerful she becomes. Taking a deep breath, they both stood in the water, facing the direction of the whales. "You're not real," Sam shouted, his voice ringing defiantly through the trees. "You're just a story. You won't take us." For a heart-stopping moment, silence enveloped the woods. The wailing ceased, replaced by an eerie calm that felt almost unnatural. But then a shadow crept at the edge of the spring, taking form and materializing before them. She appeared, an ethereal figure, her hair flowing like mist, clad in tattered white, her eyes glowing with sorrow, the banshee's face twisted in anguish, a heartbreaking sight that filled the air with heavy grief.
"Why do you torment me?"
The banshee laminated, her voice carving through the hearts.
"Why do you mock my pain?"
As she floated closer, Emily felt her breath hitch. "What happened to you?" she asked, her voice trembling. The banshee's expression flickered with recognition, her haunting visage softening as she began to share her tragic tale. Many years ago, she had been a ranger, loved by the forest, betrayed by those she trusted. Her spirit was bound to the woods, condemned to wander, laminating her unfulfilled dreams and lost life.
"I never meant to cause fear.
She wept.
I only seek solace. Yet, my cries draw the fearful. I feed on their despair."
"Then you need to let go," Sam said softly, stepping forward. "You can find peace. Holding on to your pain will only keep you trapped here." The banshee paused, her sorrow eyes locking onto his.
"Can you truly understand my grief?"
Emily stepped forward, her voice steady. "We cannot change what has happened, but you can choose to move on. Let us help you find the peace." In the brief silence that followed, the banshee's sorrowful gaze shifted between Sam and Emily. The weight of the centuries seemed to hang in the air. Then, with a sound like rustling leaves, she wailed once more, but this time, the sorrow morphed into something softer, a sigh of acceptance.
"I have wandered long on this earth, lost in my own despair. Perhaps it is time to rest,"
She whispered. Tears hung in Emily's eyes as the banshee's figure began to dim, the glow around her dissipating like mist.
"Thank you, kind souls. Your courage has shown me the path to my freedom."
She said as her form began to fade, leaving behind a shimmer of light that engulfed the spring. The forest sighed, as if it was unison, the weight of anguish lifting from its branches. They watched as the banshee's spirit dissolved into the night, the haunting wails giving way to a profound silence. Finally, Sam and Emily stepped out of the spring, feeling the cool water still trickling down their clothes. "We did it!" Emily breathed, relief washing over her. "Yeah, we did," Sam replied, glancing at the now peaceful woods. The legend of the Banshee would surely live on, but now the tale would transform into one of hope rather than fear. Together, the two rangers returned to their patrols, the shadow of hollow pines growing a little less ominous. As they walked, the whispers of the trees mingled with the gentle sound of the wind, and somewhere in the distance, the soft echoes of a woman's laughter faded into the night, a reminder that even in the depths of despair, peace was always possible.